What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Okay, I wanted to get this information out real quick. I have a few videos that I will be posting up, but one of them that I posted on yesterday, or this morning rather, yesterday, I had recorded and I talked about the FBI audit. So I got a comment in the video regarding the no-shows of them being summoned to answer to charges in regards to securities fraud because they're committing it. And one of the commenters said, well, the FBI actually does audits, but I get what you're saying. And I said, okay, you know what, let me look that up because I overlooked that. I literally Googled the FBI website and I put in the in the search box the term audit, and nothing came back. But I should have just, kept trying. I guess just Googled it. Does the FBI perform audits? So I told him, I said I was going to make sure I do a follow-up to that so that I'm not putting out information, although I'm looking up the information online. I don't want to miss anything or put out something that's a half-truth or could be, misleading or leaving gaps out or misstate anything or have anyone look at me hypocritically. None of that. So thank you to the commenter that pointed that out to me. So we're going to look it up and we're going to check it out here. This is investigative accounting in the FBI. So you guys know that the FBI was discovered back in the 50s, 60s. And this is a role of the special agent accountant in the FBI, and discuss the close cooperation between the FBI, the U.S. Army Audit Agency, and the other government agencies concerned with accounting and auditing. So they got more than 700 of the FBI investigative staff of 6,300 special agents that are accountants. For these positions, persons must have accounting degrees, possess at least 3 years of accounting experience, be between 23 and 41 years of age, and able to use firearms and participate in raids and other dangerous assignments. Accountants must be qualified to handle criminal and security investigations in addition to accounting cases when the occasion arises. Okay? So, in addition to accounting cases when the occasion arises. So it doesn't seem like it's something that's done very often in this role, as you can see here, because if the occasion arises, if it's not a constant part of their duty, then it would be basically a matter of accounting cases when they come up, which doesn't sound like it's regular. But these persons attend a intensive 14-week new agents training school where they are provided instruction in investigation-related law, with emphasis on evidence, search and seizure, and federal criminal procedure. New agents are instructed in such practical manners as interviews, fingerprints, defensive tactics, and report writing. FBI agent conducts investigation along to increase their sense of self-reliance, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 2 years in field. Special agent accountants receive an in-service refresher course that concentrates on machine accounting and on contact with senior accountants, agents, then used in the U.S. Army. Audit agency investigations of fraud against the government and related statutes, where the FBI agent examines books and records and traces financial transactions. Usual violations arise from false statements or false claims to the government growing out of procurement contracts. Okay, so here's the most pivotal part that's highlighted in purple. The FBI also deals with requests from the U.S. Department of Justice and U.S. attorneys to conduct audits and investigations in civil cases where the government is an interested party, having been used for alleged damages resulting from breaches of contract, tort, or other reasons. So the FBI also deals with requests from the U.S. Department of Justice which oversees, like, of course, the FBI, U.S. attorneys, and they conduct audits, investigations in civil cases where the government is an interested party. So I want to say that in any case where the government is either the defense of the plaintiff is when they come in, which it would actually mean that they would have to have criminal charges, or in these investigations where those charges are going to come about. So if they're investigating, let's say if the FBI was investigating Novatech, which God, I hope they are still, the interested party would have to be the government, like U.S. versus Novatech. That would have to be the interested party in order for the FBI forensic audit, accountant audits to be done in those cases. So if the U.S. decides, like on behalf of the U.S. courts, they decide to file, criminal charges or whatnot, because the FBI then will have their own people do forensic auditing and it just says civil and criminal. I don't know if hopefully I didn't misread that, but you guys can read this whole thing here. And I just looked it up, literally. I just Googled investigative. This is on the Department of Justice website, Office of Justice Programs. And if you click the NCJRS library, then virtual library, you'll see investigative accounting in the FBI. This is investigative accounting. I'm going to pull up forensic as well, just so we can have a full picture on this. But it seems like if the U.S. is an interested party, having been used for alleged damages, they were used for alleged damages resulting from a breach of contract, tort, or other reasons. I don't know, other reasons it's kind of broad with that. But so far it sounds like this would only happen if the U.S. is an interested party that was used for alleged damages resulting from a breach of contract or tort or other reasons, and I'm assuming related to those. In other cases, the government has brought civil actions seeking damages from contractors or to collect unpaid fines, claims, or judgments. So if Novatech didn't pay their SEC fine, that might be one. That might be a reason why they would need a forensic, or investigative audit or forensic audit accountant to do it. But, you see the purviews, the stipulations here. Civil actions seeking damages. This is the other. When it says other reason, then they expand on it here. In those other cases, the government has brought civil actions seeking damages from contractors or to collect unpaid fines, claims, or judgments. So there you go. I think the only part that would apply to Novatech would be unpaid fines or claims. Or judgments. Those civil suits and things that they've lost, but it would have to be against the government, or when they owe the government. All right, in these cases, the accountant examines the contractor's books and records to determine the actual damages. Finally, the FBI constantly reevaluates its accounting procedures as it must answer to many different arms of the government. So, hold on. Okay, now we have forensic auditing. What we looked at previously was investigative auditing. So this is forensic auditing and what it is and how it's used. All right. You guys can look this up on Investopedia, but this is basically an approach to accounting which utilizes accounting, auditing, and investigative skills to conduct an examination into the finance of an individual or business. Forensic accounting utilizes accounting, auditing, and investigative skills to examine the finances. Forensic accountants are CPAs that look for evidence of crimes and commonly work for insurance companies, financial institutions, and law enforcement agencies. So they're commonly doing these, seems like, from what I'm reading here, for anything that is a insurance or they would work for the crimes and commonly work for insurance companies, financial institutions, which Novatech is not, and law enforcement agencies, which Novatech is not. So I don't know in that capacity with accounting if they would even do an audit on Novatech, as I said earlier, but let's keep reading. Forensic accountants analyze financial records and accounts that may be used as legal evidence and often testify in court cases as expert witnesses. They may work on cases such as fraud and embezzlement and explain the nature of a financial crime in court. See, this is interesting because Novatech is not a financial institution. But I guess if they just needed to do it, I guess it would be one of those special circumstances. Maybe. Forensic accounting. Oh, these are the key takeaways. Forensic accountants explain the nature of a financial crime to the courts. Forensic accountants trace funds, identify assets, and conduct asset recovery and perform due diligence reviews. Forensic accounting is used by the insurance industry to establish damages from claims. Okay? So you were in a vehicle accident of some sort, and this is a job title, basically services that are performed through this title that, you know, are often related to the insurance industry. I'm wondering if forensic accounting is something that's specific to the FBI, or if they oftentimes pick up cases that may be related to the FBI for a case. Because there's obviously different agencies or companies that use forensic auditing. So it wouldn't be strictly just the FBI. And that's what I'm thinking now that this is. Forensic accountants analyze, interpret, and summarize complex financial data. They compile financial evidence, develop computer applications, manage information collected, communicate their findings, blah, blah, blah. The accountants' tasks include tracing funds, asset identification, asset recovery, and due diligence reviews. Forensic accountants may also train in ADRs, which is an alternative dispute resolution, due to their high level of involvement in legal issues and familiarity with the judicial system. Familiar with the judicial system, but not necessarily limited to working for the FBI. Forensic accounting is utilized in litigation when quantification of damages is needed. Parties involved in legal disputes use the findings of a forensic accountant to resolve disputes via settlements or court decisions, such as compensation of benefit disputes. The forensic accountant may be utilized as an expert witness if the dispute escalates to a court decision. So it sounds like forensic accounting, of course, exists, but not limited to the FBI itself. Investigative accounting, maybe, definitely, but I think what they do is more so like accounting, auditing, and investigations to, you know, as a CPA when it comes to insurance companies or financial institutions or law enforcement agencies, but not necessarily limited to just FBI. I'm not saying the FBI does not have forensic accountants. I mean, I'm sure they do. I was really hoping to just be able to find something on, you know, just the forensic accountants related to the FBI. They have a whole spiel about the criminal investigation. Oh, yeah. Accountants analyze whether a crime occurred, assesses the likelihood of criminal intent. Such crimes may include employee theft, securities fraud. There you go. Falsification of financial statement information, identity theft, or insurance fraud. The scope and mechanics of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme are understood today because of forensic accountants dissected the scheme and made it understandable for the court case. Forensic accountants search for hidden assets in divorce cases and in investigative breaches of contracts, tort, or disagreements related to company acquisitions like breaches of warranty or business valuation disputes. Forensic accountants may investigate construction claims, expropriations, product liability claims, or trademark or patent infringements, or determine the economic results of the breach of a non-closure or non-compete agreement. So it seems like they definitely have close ties to the FBI, but it sounds like every agency could have a forensic accountant, but I'm not going to say that there's none that works for the FBI themselves, because I'm sure they are. But the scope of what they're doing, it seems to be a lot more broad than just limited to something with the FBI. So, like I said, I'm not going to say that they don't have this. I can honestly believe they don't have, they will reach out to someone that has. I mean, they do forensic accounting and auditing and stuff for actually fraud cases. But is it fraud cases against like securities fraud, or fraud cases against a company violating those fraud, violating laws, but just specific to a company? It could be a number of things. But let's just assume that, they have a FBI forensic accountant. At the end of the day, it's going to be used in process of an investigation. So you're still not going to get a 700-page anything if they're actually using a forensic accountant, to investigate your finances. And they're certainly not going to give out the only copy of that 700-page report to someone that is not the CEO, and then don't know if you're going to actually forward it to the CEO. And then the CEO turns around, gets in a video, and says she read the last line of it and she burned it. Come on now. You still tell them to rely on the federal government agency. I don't understand why you think you could just do that. You got your little minions just sitting here in double time doing the same nonsense. You better cut it out, little girl. Okay, so I wanted to kind of clear this up and define this and kind of give it some context, because like I said, these things are important for you all to understand what case building is and character building is, and having all of the evidence and documentation and the cease orders and all of the failure to show for regulatory hearings, all those things to come up. And she doesn't make it to any of that, but she can go to Dubai. And it's just weird. It's like, okay, wow. You kind of put Canada in a loop, knowing that you have, charges of securities fraud, and they're investigating for, over that. And they have evidence. And you think that you're not supposed to go show up for a hearing. That goes to show she's not going to cooperate in any legal hearing that we have here in the U.S. None. Unless she is criminally charged, she is not going to even show up for a hearing in the U.S. So, I just, it is what it is. But there you go, folks. This is forensic and investigative accountant. And I wanted to make sure that if I report on something, that I'm giving all the information to you guys. And, it's only the right thing to do. And, you guys can take time to read and research that for yourselves. But till the next video.